Today we are looking again at multiplying mixed numbers. I call this part 2. I'm going to start with a little review of how to go from mixed to improper and also how to go from improper to mixed. Then we're going to continue working as we did in our previous video on how to multiply mixed numbers and choosing the method that best suits your needs and your strengths. Alright, so we have 5 and 7/8, and the way we do that is we multiply the whole number in the denominator, we add the top, so we get 40 plus 7 is 47/8. And for our next one, 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So we get 32/5. And then for 17/5, what we need to do is, you can write out a little division problem, or you can do this mentally. I'm going to show the work here, just for example's sake. 5 goes into 17, goes in 3 times, with 2 left over. So we get 3 remainder 2, and we remember our QRD, which is reminds us that our whole number is the quotient, our remainder is the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. And again, same thing here, we do 44 divided by 3, we get 44 divided by 3, goes in 10 times, which is 30. We get 14 left. 3 goes into 14 4 more times, with 2 left over. So we get 14 remainder 2, which can be rewritten as 14 is our whole number, the remainder is the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. So again, it's important, and as we get better at these and quicker, this may help point you in one direction or the other as to which method you are going to try. Alright, so now let's work through a problem here. You should have enough room to get started. So let's start with a whole number times a mixed number, and let's do 3 times 7 5/7. So remember, there's 2 ways we can handle this. We can make it, we can multiply whole numbers times whole number and whole number times fraction. So we get 21 plus 15/7. 15/7 is the same as 2 1/7, because like we did up above, I did that pretty quickly. I know that 7 goes in 2 times with 1 left over. So then I just have to finish off the math. So it's 21 plus that 2 1/7 equals 23 1/7. So now let's look how we would do this times changing our mixed number to improper. 3, I turned it to 3 over 1, still means 3, times, and 7 5/7 was changed to 54/7, because 7 times 7 is 49, and 5 more is 54. Now with this, it's better to be safe than sorry, so we need to show our work, even though we may be able to do it in our head. It's just, you'd hate to make a silly mistake. They're the worst type. So it's going to be 162, or 162 over 7. So now we're going to divide. So as you can see here, I went ahead and did the division work. We get 23 remainder 1. You need to keep in mind that QRD reminds us that our quotient is our whole number, so it's going to be 23. The remainder is our numerator, and the denominator stays the same. And you should notice that regardless of which method you use, we get the same answer of 23 1/7. Okay, now let's look at our next question. We have 6 4/5 times 7 2/3. And over here on the right side, we are going to do the same problem, but I just converted everything into improper or mixed. So I'm trying something a little different. I did my work, and then I'll just kind of talk my way through it. That way, if you're a visual person, you can kind of see it take shape. And if you're auditory, you can hear it happen. So I set up my box here. You can see I kept my fractions, my whole number and my fraction together. And then you just multiply out. So it's 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 2/3 is 12/3, which gives us 4. 4/5 times 7 is 28/5. I did simplify that to 5 3/5 because I found that might help me out a little bit. And my last box here is 4/5 times 2/3, which is 8/15. I started to do some adding up. I added my whole numbers a while, which was 46, and then I did some work on these two fractions. You can see how my 5 3/5, I had to find a common denominator to add it to the 8/15. So you can see I put a box around it. That's all that problem there. So 3/5 became 9/15. So it was 46 plus 5 plus 9/15 plus 8/15. After some simplifying here, our final answer is 52 2/15. Now moving over to the right with our improper. When you multiply straight across, I showed my work over here, 34 times 23 is 782. And then we do 5 times 3 is 15. So we show the division problem here. 15 goes in 5 times or 50 times, depending on which method you prefer. And then there's 32 left. 2 more 15s can take away 30 of that, leaving 2 left. So we have the 52 remainder 2. I gave the reminder of the QRD. The quotient is my whole number, so my 52. My remainder 2 is my numerator, and my 15, which is the denominator from the question, is the denominator here again. So as you can see, it really, like I said before, you just have to find the method that works best for you and the one that you're most successful at and understand the most, and just roll with it. And now it's your turn. I would like you to try these two problems for me, and for my class, I would like you to give those to me tomorrow morning. We have 9 times 3 1/3, and then we have 5 7/8 times 4 2/3.